Hey everybody, it's Cirky Elite with another... Oh, wait, I'm not. Hello there, and welcome to a 3v3 online battle. This one, the Empire versus the Greenskins. I'm on the other side of it. Normally I'm the Greenskins, but today I'm the Empire. This is a battle from stream, and these factions were chosen by the Wheel of the Gods, which is a spin wheel we use on stream sometimes to choose our factions. So in this case, the gods chose the Empire for us, or maybe Sigmar chose us, and the enemy were chosen by Gore and Mork. Now, my army in the middle is facing off against Incapable, who's playing as the Greenskins opposite me. And then to my left, I've got Nick de Boer playing as Midland, which is a brave choice, considering that their roster is actually fairly limited. Doesn't have as many options as all the other Empire factions. And he's facing off against Uncle Grimmel, who is mostly hidden in the trees over there. And then to my right, we've got Jaharo facing off against Boris, the mother-frickin' bastard. So we're going to look at each battle one by one. We're not going to look at them all in one go because there'll be far too much going on. So there's kind of going to be 3 battles in one, beginning with me and Incapable. Now my army is a little bit special. I'm coming with an ambitious game plan, as you can tell by my strange formation. My front line is Altdorf Gryphites and 3 units of regular Demigryphs. That's right, Demigryph front line, my friends. So wanted to do something a little bit different to catch people out, and this is my plan. So I'm going to charge up the Demigryphs into the front line, and you'll notice I've got the Flagellants in kind of a column formation so that the Demigryphs can easily run past them, because I don't want the Demigryphs getting slowed down and stuck in those Flagellants. And we may try to use them as a Phallus of Doom, because they're in a nice narrow gap they can fit through a hole that the Demigryphs may leave. So we'll see. As long as they get out the way of the Demigryphs, that's their main priority at the moment. And then the rest of my army, 2 units of cheap spears, mostly gearing towards anti-large, as my Demigryphs aren't anti-large. Got some silver bullets as well, who can stay hidden out the way. And I do have some grenade outriders as well, who work pretty well against the Greenskins, I find. Lots of kills to be had from them. And then I've got a life wizard who is primarily here to heal my Demigryphs, because of course they're going to be very susceptible to taking damage, charging into the front line. Missiles may target them first. And then my lord is an arch lector on a horse, who is ideally supposed to ride up with the Demigryphs, be alongside them, drop his melee attack buffs when they engage on the front line, and just try to help out that front line to do more damage and survive better. So that's my army, that's my plan. Doomdiver's coming in on me from Incap. I'm going to call him Incap because his name is too annoying to constantly say. Incapable, Incapable, Incapable. Although apparently it's quite easy. He's got a front line of Orc Boys, a couple of units of Goblin Archers, a whole bunch of artillery. He's got a giant hidden in the trees, although it's not very hidden. Night Goblin Shaman. That Doomdiver Catapult, got the Hammer of Gork, and a regular Rock Lobber. So lots of artillery for him. A couple of nasty Skulkers back here as well, maybe protecting his artillery. And then his lord is Azag the Slaughterer on foot. Not something you see too often. Normally he's on his mount, but here he is on foot today. We'll see what he can do. So his army, fairly balanced I suppose. Fair bit of infantry, few missiles, got that giant. I'm not sure entirely whose units are who, because they're all mixed up a little bit. So some of these might be other people's units. There's some cavalry here. Big uns, they might be his. Broken Tusk Mob. Not sure. But either way, they're all coming towards me, so I got to worry about them. Now, at first I was waiting back because Nick was using artillery, so I thought I'd let him do that. But then the Doomdiver started firing at me, so I thought, fuck this, I'm moving in. I'm secretly hoping that everyone else is going to come with me, because otherwise I'll be up there alone facing 3 armies. Jaharo's also got some artillery, so he's doing work with that. But I'm going for it. I'm going for my full-on Demigryph frontline charge plan. We'll see what it can do. Demigryph's coming up nicely. The enemy is fairly spaced out, so it gives us kind of some gaps to work with if we want to get those Flagellants through. Going to bring in the charges. Doomdiver's slowing my Gryphites down there a little bit. But here come my big old charges. Hopefully lots of damage. These are only Orc Boys up front, so they're not going to survive too well against these heavy charges. One of my units over here, I tried to get after Boris's Rusty Arrows, because they're a pretty dangerous unit, but he had a bunch of other units come over, so I had to pull them back. But we're doing okay, grinding down this front line fairly quickly, getting good damage on these Orc Boys. These ones are struggling, not taking a lot of damage ourselves, which is good. Although I do feel I missed a little bit of a trick here. Maybe I should have put one of the units through the middle into the gap, because there's artillery and missiles back here that I could eat for absolute breakfast. So perhaps should have gone for that, but it's not going to take us long to get through these Orc Boys. My lord is a bit too far behind. For some reason he only walked up the hill when everyone else was running, which means he's not with the front line giving them buffs, but they haven't seemed to need it too much. He's arriving now. Should hopefully still be able to get in there and make himself useful. Broken most of the front line. All the Orc Boys are gone, but now the nasty Skulkers are coming in. They can be dangerous, even though they're mostly a weak unit. They can put in some armor-piercing damage, and that Stink Bomb, which he's just dropped here, can be pretty effective. He's used it on my Gryphites here, stopping them from running away, so that's a good call. I've got some healing on them though to help them out, and I'm sending in the spears to get into those nasty Skulkers so they don't damage my precious Gryphites. Although Doomdiver's still going after my damn Gryphites. So we wiped out his front line, but those nasty Skulkers still around here as well, causing us problems. More Demigryphs coming in. Some of them just getting stuck. I should have charged those. Most of his army is very exposed now. Those missiles are in danger. The artillery is in danger. My flagellants are coming for him. Look at them run. Taking them out of Phallus of Doom formation. Just going to spread them wide and get them into these artilleries. Bringing in these Demigryphs. Bringing in these Demigryphs. Going to try and ruin all this range stuff as quickly as possible. So the Demigryph front line has worked a treat in this case, because the front line wasn't that strong with only Orc boys, and he doesn't seem to have any big uns around, which is most certainly a dangerous plan to not have the anti-large there, although he does have a few missiles. But in a very short space of time, my lord has taken a hammering. The giant and Azag have come after him, I think, and they've put the hurt on him, so he's nearly dead. He's routed off for now, but he is still alive. Getting my silver bullets, firing at that giant, trying to get rid of him, because he is, of course, a dangerous target that we don't want to fight in melee unless we absolutely have to. My Outriders just trying to fire on any of the infantry mostly. Preferably those nasty Skulkers would be a good target for them, but most of this greenskin stuff is routing away because their leadership, of course, isn't going to hold. And while this plan has been a success overall, we have taken a lot of damage on most of our Demigryphs. A lot of them are down to half health or less. My flagellants as well. So going to need to try and get things together, get the healing going on them to try and help them out. Most of this army left is Azag and the Giant. The Giant looks like it's going after my missiles now. My healer as well. Going to get him out of there before that Giant gets a hold of him. Off you go. He's giving chase, but he's getting shot at the back at the same time, so that's good. Most things taken care of. But yeah, this Demigryph frontline plan seems to have worked quite well in this case. At least against the Greenskins. If they had a tougher frontline, it may have been a different story. I'm trying to get some damage on Azag here with the Demigryphs, but they're just running around all over the place at the moment. My Arch-Lector has returned with very little health. Going to try and get some healing on him in a minute. The Night Goblin Shaman's still around. A few bits left. So just trying to mop up whatever is left of this Greenskin army at the moment. Some stuff coming back in the trees over there. But for the most part, we are in good nick. I've got this unit of Demigryphs that needs to go over there and help. There's so many nearly routed units that they could take care of. Go Demigryphs. Damn my micro. Still trying to get damage on Azag. He is just not taking it. He's not having it. He is just surviving like a champ. My Demigryphs aren't really going into him properly, which is a little bit annoying. Silver Bullets engaged by the Giant though. Got to try and save them, so bringing in the Demigryphs. My Silver Bullet is very important. Still got a lot of ammo left, so I want to try and keep them alive. Don't want to let them fight that Giant. Still got this group slowly regathering and regrouping over here. Fighting Flagellants. Flagellants will do that work. They're unbreakable, of course. Here we go. Finally got these Demigryphs around. Now here I could have charged into the back of this, and in hindsight I think I should have done, because I would have broken them instantly and then gone after these archers, but instead I tried to go for the archers first. I felt like these were going to break with the Flagellants there anyway, so I made the go after the archers call, but I think it would have been better to take out the little unit first. But either way, not too much of a big deal. Mostly just Azag left now, and that is pretty much my fight. Just got to wear down Azag, which we're starting to do now that they're actually engaging him properly. So let's have a look at battle number 2. So, Nick versus Uncle Grimmel. As I said, he's Midland, so he doesn't have quite as many unit choices as the Empire or the Golden Order or the Hunts Marshal's Expedition does, but he's got all the basic stuff. Uncle Grimmel's army is mostly hidden in the trees, so Nick has no idea really what's coming for him. He's got 2 units of Halberd Demigryphs out front, so a little bit of a Demigryph front line for him. He's got Empire Swordsmen as his front line, so keeping it cheap on the front line. Got some crossbows back in them, got spears at the edges, of course, got spears at the back protecting the artillery. 2 units of Empire Knights and a Bright Wizard. So got a lot of cavalry, 4 units of cavalry, the Bright Wizard, lots of fiery death to put on people. He also has a Hellblast volley gun, which is protected by those spears, and his lord is just a general of the Empire on a horse. So a fairly well-rounded basic Empire army here. Could certainly do okay against a simple Greenskins army, but anything too heavy in one direction could cause him problems. Now I think Uncle Grimmel's lord is Grimgor here, and he's brought his bestie along in the Orc Shaman. So those 2 are the character contingent for this army. Some Goblin Spears, Black Orcs, a couple of units of Trolls back here. So lots of heavy armor piercing. More Black Orcs, Goblin Spears. Again, it's hard to tell whose units are whose. I'm not sure if these are all Uncle Grimmel's. Got some cavalry around there, some Spider Riders. Anything else? Probably missing something somewhere. We'll have to have a look at the end so I can check. There is that cavalry nearby as well. They might be his, I'm not sure, but let's see how this battle progresses. Nick, of course, doesn't know what's in the trees. A couple of Spider Rider archers coming around the flank here. They might try and get behind him. Might get after the missiles or artillery. Oh, he's got some grenades up front here. I missed these. They could be useful. He's got a volley off, done a good bit of damage with those. He's just going to play it cool. He's got the missile artillery advantage, so no need for him to rush up. Just going to skirmish with his grenades. Just playing it cool right now. The Forest Riders coming around the side though. Going to get their flank on. They might be able to, even though they're a missile cab, they still could be alright in melee, so they could take out those crossbows or that artillery if he's not careful. Grenade Outriders still moving up. Still bombing these Orc boys, doing good damage. I think these are Uncle Grimmel's Orc boys. They might be Incap's Orc boys who I was fighting, I'm not sure. Either way, they're getting blown up, so I'm happy with that. Spell coming in here. Seems a little bit too far forward. Hits them only a little bit. The triangle only hit them a little bit, but it knocked loads of them over and did a fair amount of damage. I could have been maybe a little bit better placed though. Could have done a little bit more damage. And then, oh, hello. You got all this stuff in the trees back here. I haven't seen this. I had no idea this was here. We got some cheeky squigs, some night goblins, cheeky flanking party in the corner of the map. Again, not completely sure whose it is, but it's up there and it's staying put for now at least. He's getting some charges in with his demigryphs on these goblins. Going to get rid of those. Still blowing things up with his grenades. Missiles starting to fly. Front line's coming in. Black Orc's going to try and get after the demigryphs, but he's going to pull back. Spider Riders are up behind him now. He's got to do something about those, sending in the demigryphs and the spears. Maybe not worthwhile sending the spears because they're not going to be able to catch them. Here comes the old trolls. And I think these are going to be the thing that give Nick the problem, the trolls and the Black Orcs, because he doesn't have a lot of stuff that can deal with those very well. He doesn't have a great deal of anti-large to stab the trolls up. He can shoot them pretty well though, but then you've got the Black Orcs. There's not a lot he can do about them. Maybe the demigryphs will be the best hope of taking them out. And he's got this cavalry coming after him as well, so he's got a lot to deal with. Certainly a tougher army than I had to face. This cavalry coming in, it seems to be charging the swordsman. It probably missed a trick there. It could have gone straight through the middle and got into all those missiles and artillery. They're only defended really by one unit of spears, so they could have absolutely wreaked havoc on them. But still going to break through those Empire swordsmen fairly quickly because they're not the toughest unit in the world. The little flanking party still up in the trees, whoever it is. I'm going to guess maybe it's not Grimmel's because he would have probably moved it by now if it was his. But whoever's it was, he could kind of use it right now because the Empire is holding pretty well. Empire sword struggling here, but he's got a lot of damage on these Black Orcs and on the Broken Tusk Mob here. Broken Tusk Mob, a strong unit but not the toughest, so they do take missile damage quickly. Gregor going after the General of the Empire. He's running away wisely, but on this left side, everything's getting broken. These Empire swordsmen don't stand a chance against the Black Orcs and the Trolls. So there's going to be a pretty big sweep in from the left side of Nick's army that he's going to have to deal with. And here we go. Here comes the little flanking party. Going to join the fray, which really is pretty bad news for Nick. He's still got full health demigryphs though, so he could do something. He's getting into these Broken Tusk Mob. Going to try and finish them off. And while it seems like a lot of his infantry is broken away, no protection for his crossbows now if things get chased. The artillery's in trouble, but he still has a lot of his cavalry. Although it looks like he's just lost his Bright Wizard to old Grimgor. May get chased off by those goblins. So Nick holding as best he can. His missiles are really unprotected now though, and these Squig Riders are coming in. Seemingly running straight through the middle of these two crossbowman units, which is odd. You'd think they'd take them out because they're a prime target, but it looks like they're going after the cavalry maybe. Another missed trick there for some Greenskin player who should have probably taken out all that artillery right there. That could have been taken out easily, but it's doing pretty well, that Hellblaster. But there's so much green coming from his left. This little flanking party's come in now. He's got a lot of green stuff to take out, and all he's got is missiles and artillery and some beaten up infantry. Still got his cavalry though. That's still around, but it's not in this section of the army where he needs it most. His missiles going to get chased now, trying to get rid of the Broken Tusk Mob still. They are hanging on somehow. I thought they would have been dead by now. But go Tusk Mob. In comes the Trolls though. Send in the Trolls. That is the solution to most problems. And a lot of these Greenskins units still in fair health. Of course, that little flanking party that came out the trees is pretty fresh. These Black Orcs are still fresh. Some of the Trolls are alright, and they'll regenerate. Grimgor's still there in full health, so Nick's definitely had a tougher time than I had. A much tougher army to deal with. All those Black Orcs, all those Trolls, all the cavalry. Seems like a lot of this army that I was fighting may have been fighting Nick as well, because the army I took out didn't seem worth the money. Like, it seemed like there was still money to be spent on that army, so I guess he put units elsewhere maybe. But the Midland army is mostly defeated except for the cavalry now. They're still around. The Grenade Outriders here got 90 some kills, so they're doing alright for themselves. Still blowing goblins up. But there's a big old green tide coming in from the left that we're all going to have to deal with in a minute. Nick's mostly run out of infantry, but his cavalry struggles on. Now let's move on to Battle 3, Jaharo versus Boris. So, the Third Empire versus Greenskins match, although bloody hands in this case. Hellstorm rocket fire coming in on this very, very large bloody hands army. So a lot of stuff to deal with for Jaharo. And his front line is a strange one because it doesn't really exist. He's got a bunch of crossbowmen, but there's only 1 unit of spears in front of them, so it's a 1 unit front line, which is very, very dangerous. 2 units of spears on either side. Got some demigryphs in the trees. Demigryphs for everybody. 2 Hellstorm rocket batteries. Nice powerful artillery. More demigryphs there. Some cheeky wolf riders coming up behind him. You better be ready for those. Let's take a look at the rest of the army before we look at that. What else have we got? Got some Zintler's Reichsguard and then a couple of units of Pistoliers. So he's got some good units there, going to be useful against the Greenskins, but he's not very well protected all the missiles, especially putting them all together like this. They should be far more spaced out, otherwise it makes it very easy for someone to get 1 unit into 2 or 3, which is exactly what's about to happen here. These 2 artillery units are about to be engulfed by Goblin Wolf Riders. These demigryphs are probably going to need to come and save them. They're the quickest thing to get there. Some more Wolf Riders back here and 2 more units back here as well, actually. Couple of Night Goblins. Not sure who they belong to because they're not Boris's because he's Bloody Hands. But either way, Night Goblins coming up behind him. And these Wolf Riders getting into the Hellstorms. Going to do some good damage on them. May be able to rout them if they're quick. But here come the demigryphs, so maybe not. The demigryphs will take care of Wolf Riders in seconds, I'll wager. But the main army's coming up for Boris. What the hell does he have? It looks like a lot of goblins given its numbers. Goblins, goblins, goblins up front. Orc Boy main front line. Got those rusty arrows I mentioned earlier with their armor sundering. Very powerful. We've got a bunch of big uns at the back for any anti-large. Got some more missiles there. A little bit of cavalry out on the flank. So he's gone in true Greenskins fashion with a whole lot of numbers. His lord is Wurzag on a boar as well. So he's got kind of the perfect counter to Jaharo's build, which has a lot of range and a lot of missiles, in that he's brought a lot of targets. Too many things for them to shoot, and he's just going to get overrun most probably. It's very difficult, especially when you've only got a 1 unit front line, to hold back all these units and protect your missiles. He does have the strong cavalry though, and a lot of those units will break fairly quickly, but there is these Night Goblins coming up behind him as well, so again, he's got a tough fight coming his way. But as I mentioned previously, he really needs to space all these missile units out. When you put missile units right next to each other like this, it is very dangerous and very easy for the enemy to tie them up. Or worse yet, if they have a wind spell and they drop that through the middle of this, you've just lost 4 or 5 units probably. If the Wind of Death or the Burning Head or some other crazy wind spell comes through there, everything is dead if you put things next to each other. So you have to be careful, not bunching things up too much. It also makes maneuvering harder as well, so you really need some space a lot of the time to get the most out of your units. Over here is where I was bothering Boris a little bit with my demigryphs, but his front line is coming in. These Orc Boys going to get into the spears. They'll probably be able to wear them down. And these Orc Boys going to get straight into the crossbowmen. As I said, he doesn't have the protection. And again, the prime example of why you need to space things out. This 1 unit of Orc Boys here is going to be able to tie up 2 units of crossbowmen. So that's a good deal for Boris, making it very easy for him to tie up 2 units. And he'll probably beat the crap out of them, even though it's a 2-on-1. Now he has managed to rout some of these Greenskins away. Looks like he's doing some work with the cavalry. Oh, and one big thing I forgot to mention. The Greenskins War. Each one of these Greenskin armies will have its own War ability, which means they have 3 Wars, a triple War if you will. And that primarily gives a melee attack buff to all units in that army. You can see it active now. There it is. So when one person activates it, everybody on that side gets it. All 3 armies will get it. And then when one of them runs out, there you go, it's just gone off again. I didn't even plan that. What a good coincidence. So yeah, the Wars can add a lot of extra damage. Now I feel like there's a little bit of a missed opportunity for Boris. Could have maybe flanked around. There's loads of room, not a lot there to defend, but don't think he really needs it because he's mostly fighting crossbowmen in the middle. Got all those Wars coming off, although his leadership looks like it is struggling in some areas. And over here we got the Tusk Mob and some Pistoliers who... Oh, the Tusk Mob have them cornered, but they're running the other way. They would have been routed right off the map if they attacked them. Not sure what the deal is here. Maybe he's going after these demigryphs who are running away. But again, they should probably attack them back. 2 units of demigryphs against Tusk Mob. I fancy the demigryph chances, and you get rid of one of the most powerful units for that Greenskin army. Going to tie him up with the other cavalry here, though, the Zintler's boys. They're probably the worst ones to try and fight the Tusk Mob, but there you go. Some strange plays going on. These crossbowmen, though, struggling with all the infantry, as you would expect. The spearmen, one of them holding up okay. The other one taking a beating from goblins, seemingly. So it seems like the Greenskins' leadership is struggling to hold up, and the Empire is kind of holding on. They've got a lot of cavalry left. There is still the Tusk Mob here, though. They're probably doing some work on that cavalry that's left for the Empire. But Greenskins coming in to get the Hellstorms now. Going to get rid of those 2. They should have no problem doing that. So this is... I would have said it was in Boris's favour, but he seems to be turning it around a bit. These green boys going for it. Killing Hellstorms left and right. Wurzag's in here as well. So it's just a war of attrition at this point. The Greenskins, obviously, not great with the staying power. They don't have a lot of it, but the Empire infantry, at least on the cheaper end, doesn't have much staying power either. It's mostly the cavalry for the Empire that's keeping this fight alive, and just the returning Greenskin units that keep pestering what's left of the infantry, and is looking like it's starting to get the better of it. It's only Empire cavalry left now for Jaharo. So he's not necessarily lost yet, because he still has a good bit of cavalry in decent health. And Boris is mostly here with a lot of beaten up Greenskins unit. His Lord is still okay. Just about to break the General of the Empire here. He's still got a good bit of health though, but he might get chased off. He's hanging on just about. Got a Goblin Big Boss on him though, and Wurzag. But here comes the cavalry, quite literally. The Zintler's Reichsguard coming in to hit some nice hammer and anvil on these boys. That could be a good way to break them. They can cycle charge the crap out of all these units. A lot of them are kind of by themselves and are low on leadership. You come and hit this unit with a nice big Demigryph charge, you'll probably rout them off the map. You can do the same with this little unit, and you can get rid of a lot of these Greenskins units just tidying up what's left of them. Because there isn't a lot. There's one good health unit coming in. You don't want to bunch up your cavalry too much, especially as these are big uns, I think, that's just arrived on them. You got to be careful. Still got his Pistoliers. And I think that about puts us where we were at the end of the other two battles. The big Greenskin Flank coming in on Nick. We're just there. And arm over here. Finishing up what's in the trees. I think there's my cavalry. I'm going to try and rout off this little group. Got my Flagellants here. Another War being popped there. Demigryph charge coming in. Let's watch it for the glory of Sigmar. Beautiful. That is probably going to rout. Yep, all of those units, they're all beaten to crap. They weren't going to survive a Demigryph charge for Shizzo. Brainburster going off on the grenade launchers, but they're okay. Still got those going, does Nick. And at this point, I saw that Jaharo was pretty much beaten up, so I went to try and help him finish off what was left over there. Still getting after Wurzag, leaving my Jade Wizard to try and beat him up. I don't have much magic left, so I don't really mind if he gets beaten the crap out of or anything. Just got to try and put some damage on goddamn Azag. Trying to blast these Black Orcs here with my Silver Bullets. Getting them in the side and back. Should be some nice armor piercing damage on them. They are not a unit we want healthy in the late game, so trying to wear them down now. Nick's got a bunch of units left, but they're all scattered around. Jaharo doesn't have much left by the looks of it. He's been thoroughly routed off. I'm trying to get some charges in on these Orc boys. Got my Demigryph still going around. My Archlector has just about survived. I definitely should have been more careful with him. Some big uns coming his way though. We don't want to fight those. They are anti-large, of course, but we will need to get some charges or something in on them. Oh, I think my grenades are doing that actually. My grenade outriders bombing those big uns. A good tool for taking them out, I think. See if they get another volley off. No, okay, never mind. They're fighting my cavalry over here. They're going for my cavalry. They're still fighting the Orc boys at the moment, my Demigryphs. A great opportunity to blast them in the back with grenades, I say. Keeping my Archlector out the way. Jaharo's got a few Pistoliers left. We've broken some of the Orc boys. The big uns are coming. I'm trying to get away now. They've broken my Griffites. Still some Black Orcs, Trolls, Grimgore left in here. Still a lot of stuff to take care of. Nick's starting to rally his troops. A lot of them near the edge of the map. They nearly got routed off, but they have returned by the looks of it. He's got a lot of stuff over here. Still got a good bit of cavalry. Finishing off the Greenskins on his side. I've still got my Wizard. He's survived. I guess he got beaten up a bit by Azag because he's nearly dead, but he's alright. And there goes Azag. My Demigryphs finally got a hold of him and beat the schnot out of him. Hopefully we'll kill him so he doesn't rally. And me still protecting my lord like a champ has left him sat here, and Wurzag's coming after him. I do notice, try to get away in the nick of time, but he does clonk me around the back of the head. Still alive though. Gonna try and pop some damage resistance buff to keep me alive. He's not gonna pursue me. He's routed me, but I'm not dead, so I should come back. Got a little bit of health. My grenade outriders are gone, but that's okay. Demigryphs in the trees. So it's at this point I realized, okay, we need to regroup, we need to retreat, we need to get back together and form ourselves up. So that is exactly what we're doing. I noticed Nick is regrouping himself over here, so I go to join him. I'm pulling all my stuff back to this area now. Everything I've got left is coming to here, so we can form up as one little army and try and take on whatever the hell they have left. So it's going to be the last stand of the Empire here. There's still some Black Orcs to worry about. Wurzag, Trolls, there's a Shaman. So there's still some strong things left for these green boys. They might still have Wars as well. Their War abilities might have reset by now and be ready to be used again. So here we go. This could be where it's won or lost. Nick's got back on his artillery, which is very, very helpful at this point in the game. And artillery late in the game can be an absolute game changer. So that should be doing some good work, especially on those Black Orcs. I'm trying to line up my Silver Bullets My Arch-Lector's here as well. Everyone's back. Brainburster went off behind us, I think. Didn't do anything though. But here it is, coming down to the wire. The favor bar still in the middle. Could be anybody's game at this point. Wurzag still over here with a good bit of health. There's still a good amount of greenskin stuff left. We've got a good bit of cavalry left, some strong stuff left. My demigryphs are fairly beaten up. Nick's got some that are okay. But overall, we're beaten down, we're battered, we're low on health, low on leadership. It is going to be a goddamn struggle. And if that wasn't bad enough, something wicked this way comes. While all the other orcs are running away, there's one that keeps moving forward. It's fucking Grimgor. He's got a lot of health, he's pissed, and he's coming straight for us. Shit it. Will we find a way to put the Green Slaughterer down, or is he just going to destroy everybody? So there's a big old Grimgor with a hell of a lot of health coming our way, and he's pretty much by himself. There's a few units in the distance coming up. There is some stuff coming down the left, but we got to try and stop him. Trying to focus fire him as much as we can. I've got my silver bullets going on him, trying to wear him down with the armor piercing, because he's a tough bastard. Doing some good damage, but not slowing him down that much. He is coming heavy. I'm going to bring in my demigryphs to try and slow him down, knock him on his ass, stop him from getting us. Demigryphs, they knock him over. That'll slow him down a little bit, keep him from our missiles, give us a chance to reposition and line up. But there's some black orcs and trolls coming, not to mention everything else. So it's looking a bit rough right now, but Sigmar protect us. I'm going to try and flank round this side to try and hit them in the back to break their leadership, break the trolls and break the black orcs. There's a bunch of stuff coming in. There's a good health Wurzag still around as well, so magic potentially on the cards, and Wars as well. Definitely not what we want for Grimgor. We don't need him with any more melee attack. There's routing going all over the place. We've broken the trolls and the black orcs. Wurzag's coming in now. There's a big boss. Missiles flying all over the place. Nick's got his cavalry coming in from the left, trying to get rid of whatever is left for these goddamn greenskins and bloody hands and all the other bastards. The orc shamans arrived now. We're routing stuff. It's mostly just down to Grimgor. He's coming after our missiles. He's getting in, or he's trying to get into my silver bullets. He's run straight past the crossbows. He wants my silver bullets. I'm trying to run them away. Some swordsmen coming over to try and help slow him down, hopefully, because my silver bullets are armor piercing, so they're great at taking out Grimgor, but the shamans arrive now, so support him. Oh, it's getting close. It's getting crazy. It's getting scary, if I'm honest. Because Grimgor, say what you like about him, he's not the greatest lord against other lords, but in a group of infantry, he is an absolute terror. He's just decapitated the general of the Empire. Nick's lord has just been thoroughly decapitated. Thoroughly. That is definitely a thorough decapitation. So Nick is in a little bit of trouble with his leadership. He's going to be taking that lord dead penalty. Grimgor's got all kinds of buffs. He's still hanging in there. He's got the War. The shaman's struggling a little bit. We've got Grimgor surrounded, but that's not necessarily a good thing because it gives him a lot of infantry to kill. We don't have any great armor piercing in there, so it's going to be a struggle to hurt him. The swordsmen, they're wavering. Nick's swordsmen not going to hang around for too much longer. The crossbows are gone. I'm bringing my demigryphs in to try and help out. My silver bullets are still stood there. They haven't been able to shoot him though, of course, because there's too many friendlies in the way. But there's nothing else we can do to the bastard. My demigryphs can't get a good hit on him. The swordsman ain't going to do shit, and everything's routing. All Nick's stuff's running away. My demigryphs have had enough. My silver bullets are just about hanging in there. They're wavering. I've pulled them back to a relatively safe distance. They're firing on their own choice now. They're shooting the shaman. I'd much rather they be shooting Grimgor. I'm going to pull them back a little bit further just to get a little bit more distance to try and line him up. Bringing some demigryphs in from the back to try and knock him down. I think, fuck it, need to shoot him. So I tell them to line him up and just start shooting. Even if he's going to reach them, they can hopefully still do enough damage to maybe waver him. But nope, he's still coming. My demigryphs have been caught up by the shaman. Nick's demigryphs are coming over to help. Grimgor still pursuing my silver bullets. They're hanging in there though. They're not routing. They're not wavering. They're still going. He's chasing us. I'm bringing back my demigryphs to try and save my silver bullets again. Finally, we get Grimgor wavering, and he's nearly out of health. Sigmar be praised. He's going to fall this day. For Sigmar, we got him. That is going to be the end of victory for the Empire this day. Only just, though. Grimgor was a bastard at the end. He nearly had us, but we managed to wear him down with the little demigryphs we had left and a few missiles. Good game to everybody involved. A damn close one. Now, let's take a look at some kills and some armies. So my Arch-Lector, definitely something I should have done better. I didn't use his buffs very well, and he just got killed pretty quick, so my own fault there. Didn't do very well with him, but my demigryphs, of course, did absolute disgusting amounts of damage to everything. My grenade outriders not doing too badly. Flagellant's doing well, so a good spread of kills for my army. And for Jaharo, not a great deal of kills on his infantry, but the cavalry has done most of his work. Lots of kills on the demigryphs. The pistolier's doing well. Fairly spread out kills throughout his infantry, no one really being completely useless, but he did enough to help us win the day. Nick had the tough break. He, again, not a lot of work from the infantry, but cavalry going to absolute town on things. His grenadiers got 250 kills. They were doing some work. The Hellblaster getting a few kills. That was probably some Black Orcs in there as well. So lots of kills from the cavalry mostly for the Empire. And for the Greenskins, kills in the infantry is going to be their primary place. And that seems to be it. Not a lot elsewhere. Not a lot in the artillery. We took that out fairly quickly. The missiles, the nasty Skulkers didn't do a great deal. The cavalry. And the Capable had those Night Goblins and those Squig Riders, so it was him who had that sneaky party at the back. That's probably why my army didn't have so much to deal with. And for Boris, lots of kills on Wurzag, and some of his infantry, these Orc boys, doing some good work. Over 100 kills for a couple of those. Not very much in the cavalry, so mostly infantry from Boris, but not enough to seal their victory. Not sure how Wurzag got so many kills. Maybe Foot of Orcs, maybe. And for Uncle Grimmel, the man with the Black Orcs and the Trolls, decent kills with those Black Orcs, of course. Trolls, some of them doing okay. Cavalry not doing a great deal. He had the Broken Tusk mob. And he's the one who had Grimgore. So, there we go. He nearly got us with that Grimgore at the end. But Sigmar was on our side and we managed to prevail. So, thanks to everyone for playing. If you'd like to get involved in these stream battles, then I stream every Thursday, usually 6 PM GMT. If you want to get involved in stream battles and maybe be in one of these videos, then do come along. Doesn't matter what skill level you are, you don't have to be the best player in the world. We accept anyone and everyone. We're just having some fun. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the future.